What's up, guys? This is Bree, and welcome to this particular playlist. So, I've decided to make a playlist about coding because, as you guys know, if you know me, I am getting my master's in information technology with a concentration in application development. And any coder or aspiring programmer knows that coding can be extremely difficult. Sometimes I don't want to call it boring, but it can be frustrating and it can cause you to want to quit sometimes. Currently, my goals, and I think it's important to talk about your goals here, is that one day I would like to be a project manager or I would like to be a full stack developer or WordPress developer. I have a couple of options, as you should, because it's the tech industry. And I'm going to start reviewing some things, and I also want to do live coding practices because let's make this fun and interactive. Tell me what kind of code you would use on these examples. But first, I want to do a review on CodeCademy simply because a lot of us that are aspiring coders and might not want to go to get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or even an associate's degree in computer programming, computer science, information science, information systems, blase, blase. Most of this information is online. And CodeCademy is a resource that people can use. However, I want to first talk about the cons. I want to be honest about how I feel about CodeCademy. CodeCademy is upgrading a lot of different things. But personally, one thing I cannot stand is their server. Their server times out a lot. Their server causes me to have to redo my practice session. And there's nothing wrong with redoing code. Like, the idea of redoing code isn't a problem for me. It's the fact that I have to restart where I'm at. Like, for example, I'm at 5 out of the 7. I was definitely at 6, and I was pushed back to 4. I actually just was practicing this again, but even now, hopefully this might run and let me move forward. But even this toggle, it runs so long, and I promise you, my internet is so stable at my house. It's completely fine. So the fact that it runs so long, and I can't even move on next, and just it's frustrating, and that's a super frustrating thing. But this is free right now, so I'm not paying for anything. But if I was paying for the pro version, I would expect more. So let's, yeah, look at this. Execution expired. Like, that can be frustrating. Now it says next, but in general, that this can be a frustrating thing, and I'm not going to pay for this right now. Another thing is, when you get on CodeCademy, it automatically takes you here. If you don't see the back button, you might think that the only thing you can do is pay for it. And from a marketing standpoint, I understand, but I feel like this would increase a bounce rate. I don't really like the idea that it takes you automatically here. However, someone that's maybe more suited to marketing and business and sales might think that this is an awesome idea, but I personally don't like it simply because I already know that how CodeCademy is, and I personally think that they should work on things like their servers, for example, and improving that before trying to just get people to pay $200 and something for something. But I do want to show you guys some of the options. Some people might see CodeCademy, not CodeCademy. Some people might have used CodeCademy before. Some people may have never used CodeCademy before. So I am going to admit there are a good amount of practices and courses you can go through. So let's just go through some of them. Web development, computer science, SQL. As you can see, I'm 50% done that. Python 2, I'm 15% done that. Ruby, I'm 5% done that. I'm going to go over the free ones. PHP, CSS. I'm probably not going to do HTML and CSS because I kind of get refreshed when I'm in the PHP one. And even when I do go back to React.js, I'm probably going to be exposed to HTML and CSS already. I have already not only learned HTML and CSS, but I've also taught it before. I'm not going to say I'm well skilled, as anybody should. You always should go over your code. You should always practice, learn more. However, I have already learned HTML and CSS entirely, and it's just better for me to practice interactively, which I usually do practice through WordPress because I create a lot of WordPress websites and I'm able to play with the CSS and HTML. So that's why I'm not going to go over these two courses. Java, I don't go over this either. Here's why. I have no intent of being not right now. I do not plan on being a Java developer. I do not plan on being some kind of developer for Oracle. I do not plan on even being an application developer yet. These are more complex things that I'm actually not ready for. I love WordPress. I love Shopify. I love the e-commerce business. So my idea is to become well suited in that, not just in the digital marketing aspect, but in the development part. Some of my favorite websites that are booming in e-commerce are let me go through them. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm not a big Fashion Nova fan, so I won't say Fashion Nova necessarily as far as their website. Amazon is Amazon is like number one. I'm compared to eBay. I think Amazon has a nice layout. AliExpress has a pretty cool layout. DHgate is okay, but there's a lot of e-commerce platforms out here that functionalities really impressed me of the idea of just coming in and allowing other people to post their items and such. Like, I thought that was an extremely smart idea. So I think the same thing. Etsy, I really like Etsy as well. I would love to build something like that one day. So there's a couple ideas that I have here, and I'm really excited to bring some to fruition one day as I get better. So what do I feel is important if you want to become a web developer? I think it's important to learn the following. Of course, HTML, CSS, PHP, React.js, JavaScript. You should learn. Remember, too much JavaScript on a site can cause it to slow down. More so on WordPress. So just remember that. This is a library, by the way. React and jQuery are both libraries of JavaScript. Python's not a bad idea. SQL, that is a back-end language. This is where you store your database at. So when these two go hand in hand a lot, say you are creating a form, you can create a form with PHP. Let's say that you want a job application form on your website. You can code it on the front end with PHP. Let's just see if they have anything that's kind of talking about that. Freeform project, blah, blah, arrays. Yeah, so let's say, yeah, so I don't know if it's going to let me go straight to it. Oh, great. Yeah, so here's the example. You can create the form on a .html file. Again, like I said, you can see a whole bunch of HTML here. Whole lot of HTML. And on the back end, they would be using MySQL. So I do think that's important because this is what you collect on the front end. You would submit, learn your text here. You can enter text here. Brianna, you can enter a number here, 12. You slide this left and right, whatever. And all of this stuff should be able to be stored in the back end. Right now, it's not going anywhere because it's not connected to MySQL. As you can see, it's literally not connected anywhere. So, yeah. So, taking this back. So what I do like about CodeCademy is that there is a good amount of things on here that are free, a good amount of resources that are free, and they do try to motivate you. Like, for example, this Start Your 30-Day Challenge. But I personally can refer you to another website, which is, it's not this one, but I will actually, let's just go, that's my Pinterest. Let's just go to Free Code Camp. I like Free Code Camp. Their user interface is definitely totally different from CodeCademy, as you can see. However, I never have any issues with CodeCademy. Not CodeCademy, with Free Code Camp. I literally can do whatever I want on here. They have a good amount of tutorials, so let's say that I need to practice PHP, which I do. They show examples. They usually have interactive sessions and such. However, right now I'm confused. I've never had to go through all this. Let's take this back. I think it's because the slash thing says news. So I might have went to, there you go, learn. Got it. Here I go. So this is, so the last thing I did on here was Bootstrap. So that's probably why. But let's see if there's any. Not running into PHP right now, but even learning Bootstrap is pretty important. And as you can see, it's pretty interactive. Like, I mean, right now this is probably not going to do anything, but look at this. Like, I don't run into any server issues on there. So, going back to CodeCademy, let's refresh it, reset it. I'm actually playing with Ruby right now. Sorry that I'm all over the place, but this is just something else that I've decided to learn. You can use Ruby in web development, by the way. There are a good amount of websites that have been built off of Ruby, and one of them is honestly called Shopify. Shopify is a website that you can create your e-commerce website on. So they give you a good amount of templates. You're allowed to get your domain name and hosting through there. It's a pretty popular website. A lot of popular brands do use Shopify. So I do believe that you should also learn Ruby, just because you never know, you can create the next big thing, honestly. So this, if you're not familiar with Shopify, this is what Shopify looks like. You can create a store on here, more so, that's what I should have said, and sell your merchandise and such. A lot of people use Shopify for drop shipping, and it's definitely a huge company. So if you ever want to learn Ruby, just know that you can create things like Shopify. And that's amongst other things. There's plenty of things that you can create with Ruby. So now let's get into the interactive coding part. So what is this discussing? As you might have noticed, Ruby's not really returning any feedback to us. We want to be able to see our string formatting in action. For this, we'll need one more new piece of syntax. If you define a variable monkey that's equal to the string Curious George, and then you have a string that says I took monkey to the zoo, Ruby will do something called string interpolation and replace the monkey, but with the value of monkey, the string, obviously. That is, it will print I took Curious George to the zoo. We can do the same thing here, for example. So what I do like about CodeCademy is they really will take you piece by piece on what's going on, and then they'll tell you what to do. So they want us to use the syntax that they just mentioned in this situation. So let's use the syntax to print out the values of first name, last name, city, and state. Now, if you ever need a hint, obviously they give you a hint. But I don't recommend you look at the hint before trying. So, again, this is what they expect. So we'll do this. We'll use puts. Your name is, and then we have these curly brackets opening with the hashtag, and then we're going to put our variable in here. Done. Probably should put my little exclamation point just like they did. Now, I'm sure we all do this as programmers. I don't need to put the whole thing like this. However, I'm going to just change up the variables. So your last name is, and then we're going to change the variable name, last name. You are from, do the same thing, change it to the variable name, city. And then let's see, you are from you're from city. Okay, I just didn't want to say the same, but it's not, because it's going to be a different state. So you are from, and then we obviously put the state variable. Okay, so first off, obviously this is not interactive or live, but I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. What's your first name? It should take the input for the first name. It should spit back out what I put in. So this is basically a bit of a form. So let's see. Then I want to make sure everything's right. That's what they did. Puts. Yeah. All right. Let's try it out. So there's something wrong here. Thank God the server is working right now. But there is something wrong. It took my name and put it for everything. Why did it do that? Are these two spaced out? This is possibly the issue. Let's see if that's what caused it to make that. No. So this is when you check over your code first, of course, but this is when you actually go and get the hint. Remember, your string interpolation always has to be inside quotation marks. So RBN equals bacon puts This wasn't really a great hint, in my opinion. Remember, your interpolation always has to be inside quotation marks. Like so. RBN equals bacon puts, and then that puts I love. But where's the break? You know, I don't feel like there was a break. I'm just confused on that part. So this didn't really give me the answer, which I understand. So we're going to click on get help. Get code solution. So let's see what the answer was. Okay. So I wasn't supposed to put a puts at the bottom at each one. So let's run it. Brianna. So do you guys see my confusion? How does this work? What city are you from? No. So this is an example of the confusion I get. I get. And that's why I wanted to tweet live. I wanted to code live, because this is where confusions can come in. I see that it's running, so we obviously know we didn't break anything, but this isn't telling me that even when they give me the answer, it's not the right answer. Like I still haven't been able to put in my last name. I haven't been able to put in what city I'm from or what state I'm from. So I don't really think this was a great example, simply because when we got the code solution, it didn't work. Of course, and all of this is supposed to get my input. Interesting. So guys, that was very confusing. So anyways, I'm glad that you guys let me do a live code review. I'm going to do a live one again, maybe I will use free code camp next. But thank you for listening to my review. Thank you for letting me show you guys that I still have a lot to practice. This is a brand new programming language for me, and as I said, I am just now really diving more into it. So as I get more experience, you guys get to watch it along the way. So thank you.